What's up, guys? It's your boy, Annihilator, and I'm making my first Beyond All Reason video. Um, I just been freed from my 3-day suspension, and what was the other thing? Oh yeah, I'm 6 chefs now, so I know what I'm talking about. Um, I want to talk about today how to absolutely clown on people on glitters. So of course, one of the first things the first thing I did was play some glitters and vowed not to interact with people, especially if they're annoying. But let's make sure. I hope that the sound is good. I'm not hearing any sound from the game yet. Bop bop bop. So I want to talk about how to just absolutely clown on people on glitters as a front, and this is gonna mostly apply to these two lanes right here, 6 and 7. But it's more of a we're gonna go over some fundamental things, I guess. And I think if you really want to be good at the game, go ahead and get a broad perspective, learning all roles and playing Rotato. But I can see when you're first starting out, you wanna limit all the possible variables that can happen in a game and just concentrate on things. I get that, but at some point, it's good to step out of your comfort zone. So I started out as a tech, so you'll notice that I like to tech on the front after everything is stabilized. And maybe I'll talk about a tech build order later. But today I'm just gonna concentrate on fronting and hopefully sharing some knowledge.
Game started.
So let's figure out where I landed. Some people were drawing, so I made sure to let everybody know that we are going to instead go full retreat instead of this nonsense of drawing out the lanes. So here's one thing. You're not gonna like this. I think in this replay, I didn't build any mechs before my factory. So we're just going to talk about how to completely clown on people on glitters build order. So when I land, I'm going to make just barely enough wind to be able to build the factory without stalling. If wind is at 8 or less, you want to build a solar instead of a wind. This is definitely a wind map. You want to avoid solar unless wind is trolling. So if you see it at 8 and you're hurting for energy, 8 or below, that's a good. I think that's the number I quote is 8 or below. Build a solar in that moment. But here wind is good, so you can get away with 1 or 2 wind. Probably 2. I think if we look at this and observe it, I guess it's taking 63 energy to build this per second or tick or whatever. So first thing I want to do, we want to get our cons out as fast as possible and take all of our maxes as fast as possible and get up to the front because this is kind of a trench map. There's not a whole lot of room to maneuver around the turtle warfare on the front. So the further up that you start establishing your defensive line, the better. Sorry, the seasons are changing. I've got the sniffles. I'm going to be snorting a lot. I'm sorry. It's just going to happen. After this, I'm just watching my energy. I'm going to queue up 3 construction bots, but really, you don't have to get the pawns or the grunts out as early in this situation, because I mean, our factory, the first thing, our factory is going to be done before theirs is even started. So you can get away with a little bit less defensive grunts and pawns early on. But you're definitely going to need them pretty quick. And you might, I think it's in this replay or maybe the next one. Ticks are really annoying. And if you're not prepared for them, they're just going to ruin your day. So you want to have, I like, my magic number is like 5 grunts to ward off early aggression. But we're going to be able to get away with making 3 construction bots before anything else. So I'm watching my energy, and I'm going to be playing this game with my energy bar, where I'm going to fit in and watch this and fit in whatever I need. If I can sneak in my metal extractor, I will, when depending. But building a metal extractor is pretty energy intensive. It takes, looks like it's 80 from our comm per second. So I'm just playing this game where I'm juggling. If I can fit in a wind, I'll fit in a wind. But I'm going to be trying to not stall and not float, with an emphasis on getting energy earlier while building the con. So this first construction bot's going to go here, and I'm just thinking of it is it's going to go here. One goes up this line. We'll stop there, build a turret there. Or actually, that's the second. We're going here, and then I'm going to build a turret that covers their 3.2 mechs. Second one is going to go here, in this way, sort of. Keeping in mind that this is normally going to be the back corner canyons mechs over here. So we're going to, like, in a defensive line here. Usually a gap ends up here in the defenses. And then this one's up for debate for me, is the third con is going to go up the middle. But in these 2 games, I was trying something a little bit different and just having my comm take the middle. But it's, I think it's good to have 3 cons expanding and then get your comm up here as fast as possible to secure this area and deny the opponents. Sorry, this area, and deny the opponent's max. And what's going to end up happening is I'm not going to have a whole lot of build power in this base, so if this is going up against more aggressive players, but it rarely ever happens to me in this case. I just get away with this, and I'm 26 OS. So if you're up to this point where you're playing mid lobbies and still getting away with it, I'm sure this works fine for noobs. But then again, weird stuff happens in the noob lobbies, so whatever. But this works pretty consistent. So my lane is 5 chev, I want to say, 24 OS, and you'll see we're just gonna absolutely dominate this guy. So my comm, I'm just juggling around, and at this point I might e-stall, so I would want to keep an eye on this and like, oh, I'm stalling, I'm going to build this wind. And if I had the foresight, I would have built the wind first before ever starting this mechs. And then time for more wind. And I'm not even rushing out these cons. I'm just using this build power to establish my eco. We just don't want to stall, because this is gonna be a balancing game. You really don't want to stall. So get the windmills out as fast as you can after the factory, and then the mechs, and try not to stall. And this is gonna be about the point where I'm thinking, I'll probably send my comm up front. It's a balancing game, because like we're leaving our base with not a whole lot of eco or build power for now, and you'll see you might have a criticism that I'm gonna be at the bottom of metal produced at this point, but I'm very quickly going to skyrocket to the top because I gave up early metal to get a whole bunch more quickly later, and you can probably min-max this, which is, you know, you can always do better, but yeah. So I think in this case I opted to leave one construction bot at the back to be making wind because I'm gonna have a lot of metal and I'm gonna need to spend it. And if we look at this is when the bots are finally coming out, or the what you call it. And there's a few reasons why you choose bots on glitters. Bots are good for bots are good for frontline combat. Tanks are for big wide open maps where it's harder to you're not gonna have big clumps of units all concentrated in one spot. Bots are good for T1 bots are good for getting a whole lot of HP and DPS all cluttered in one spot with light plasma bots, I believe they're called. Plasma bots, yep. And they have a little bit of better range. Tanks are, I feel like tanks are kind of I guess T1.5 maybe you could think of it in a way, or a win more unit. So I think these ticks are gonna be leaking. Maybe not in this case, but just keep in mind that ticks are gonna be a thing, and you want to have. This is very greedy of me. You want to have like the magic number 5 grunt after, or before you get 3 cons, but you definitely want to have 3 cons pretty quickly to take all the mechs available to you. Get up front, establish the front line. And I'm not saying I execute this perfectly. Also, at this point, I have wind. I'm making more wind, and then I might end up floating. So I'm going to be thinking about various decisions. Usually, we'll want maybe a few construction turrets up here, but first I would get a energy storage, and then the construction turrets I want to be covering at least these 3 starting mechs. Bonus points if you can fit this one under it too. And then, like, you see how quickly that my comm is up here compared to him. He's barely, like, look at my progress compared to everyone else. My metal income is 14. The next best is surprisingly Junk Collector, which is my lane at 13. He's gonna fall behind because he only has one bot here taking what you call it, mechs, and I would guess that he's getting a pretty good metal income early on because his comm has taken or capped these mechs as it walks to the front, which is fine. I think I opted to maybe grab one back here, but I'm thinking I really just do not want to take any risks with him getting this 3.2 max, because if I can deny this, the game is pretty much decided in my favor, or the lane is decided in my favor. So it may even be better to just go here and put down the turret and then come back and grab this, or just let these do their thing. And I'm floating E I don't want to float E. I want to help my team. I want to help myself. So I decided to, I'm not feeling much pressure right now, so I've decided that I'm going to push out even more cons to make more win and eco in the back. So I'm a little bit behind on E, but I've used it on the essentials. Let me think. This does feel, I do want to say, like if people are a bit more aggressive, this is gonna feel a lot more unsafe. But I'm not feeling any pressure right now, so I'm just making more bots. And once the turrets are up, like you can really skimp on units on this map just by making turrets. And if you play front on glitters, you know that if you are doing well and everyone else is falling apart around you, you're gonna get up to like a 4v1 sort of situation with very little support. So the more we just want to accept that that's going to be something that happens. So you want to overbuild defenses, and it's going to work out in your favor because you don't want to be, you don't have to be super aggressive with anything other than your turrets. Oh, this was a fun interaction here, I believe, on this one, because he's going to be continuing to try to make turrets. One thing is, you can, if you're able to, and their turrets aren't. How do I want to put this? Well, I place this turret so that it's denying this max. That's one big thing. And if you can, try to have your commander in front of the turret while it's building so it can't get degunned. And then as you get more and more saturated with turrets, it's going to be a lot more dangerous for them to try to go for the degun. So in this situation, I think my comm actually is going to take a lot of LLT fire, light laser turret. Tower. Is it tower? I just call it turret. Yeah, but back here, just spamming wind and trying to prepare my economy as best as I can to start pumping out units or even more eco, depending on like what the situation calls for. This, I think I'm not taking these maxes as fast as I want, so I would definitely next time opt to have 3 expanding construction bots. Also, another reason why you want to start with construction bots is that they're just cheaper on the energy, and the factory's cheaper, all that, and you can build all that without stalling, without building your mechs before the factory. That's another consideration. That's not something a lot of people do, and a lot of people would be like, oh, you can't do that, oh my god, you can't do that, you can't do that. Someone probably saw that and just completely cringed, but as you can see, it's working out pretty good for me. So anyway, I think vision here is even a consideration. I'm not sure what the minor detail. Line of sight 494, range. It's, I gotta unclick this because it's not. Its range is 435, so its line of sight is bigger than its range, so that's good. I think my comm is gonna end up taking a lot of unnecessary fire. But once you get into this situation, he's gonna be repairing this turret to try to keep it alive. And we'll have that interaction going on for a while. I do often make the mistake of having my grunts in the back in a kind of ineffective place, so I didn't change my queue. Another thing that you want to do is generally have your factory on repeat at all times. You can go in settings and have that as default. I highly recommend you do that. And then if you want a specific unit at a time, like construction bot, you can hold Alt and click it in. It'll be the first thing that's in the queue. It'll build it once or as many times as you click it in, and then resume the normal queue. Another one is the queue mode, where you want to, I will use this often till like maybe I'll stop at 5 grunts and then take those out of the queue, add in thugs, and then have a few aggravators, like 3 or 4, and then 1 or 2 anti-air bots if I know that I'm going to be pushing hard and dealing. And I'll just, instead of asking air to help, which they never do, you just have your anti-air there for the shurikens that you're going to be dealing with already. So once you foresee that as a thing, you can queue up thrashers or the anti-air bot. Aggravators are good for taking out or being aggressive against fixed defense, but thugs are going to be your main line sort of fighting unit, with grunts. Just try to keep them alive to catch leaks, I guess. You really don't have to be super aggressive on glitters once you have established your front. And I'll show you some fun things you can take advantage of. So at some point I'm going to notice I'm floating super hard, so I'll get the energy storage. And then here, LLTs are really, 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 really good. I didn't see this, but or maybe I did see this. And we don't. One thing I could have done was I thinking about you want to be the team that gets all this reclaim. So, but I didn't I didn't think to like put all these to assist this factory and start sending stuff over here, but I did have an excess of units that I wasn't using, so I did end up gifting these grunts to aid in the process of grabbing these. It's really, that's 2.5 thousand metal, and I want to make sure that we're getting it, not them. And yeah, so this is like, you see how the blitz got through. You can easily prevent that by building turrets and stuff to prevent leaks. But this will get caught. I'm going to do the best I can well, I gifted my grunts to send them over here, and I guess this Resbot's probably going to go reclaim those Commander Rex. And I'm just getting away with as much as I can with being, well, like less, in the perspective of like less is more. Yeah, my comm took a lot of fire, so I'm not feeling too good about its health getting that low. One thing I could have recognized is, well, I don't want this thing to, I could grab these mechs and I can put down more turrets. And there's not a lot. Okay, guys, this position right here, okay? Your job is to ignore this and go right here. Okay? Quit trolling. Your job as the back corner cannon is not to go here and feed all of your units down this gauntlet. It's to go right here and keep this lane from getting double teamed by this guy. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. This guy should be able to build turrets and completely lock down this area and just chill. Same for this guy. He's just going to... You really just want to chill back here. Have some defenses and scale. That's usually... And like, you always want to be looking for opportunities where can I just turtle up and scale up? You don't need to be aggressive. The game is won in economy. So over here, I'm gonna gift these. There was a fight, an unfortunate outcome where both commanders got blown up, and I'm going to do as much as I can with this. And we don't need to both be over here microing it, so I gifted the grunts. Grunts will shoot down the shurikens. And this guy's super late, so there's no turrets or anything here. And I'm actually building turrets for this guy. Also, whistlers, not good units for frontline. They're really not. They have like pitiful DPS, pitiful health, good range, but they're outmatched by everything else. These whistlers are good for breaking down defenses. That's it. They're not melee sorts of units. They're not this is the one unit I'm going to build. They are a utility. They are a support unit. They have really good line of sight. And they also shoot air, which are all good qualities to have a few of them, but not your entire army. So this is working out pretty good for us. And this is really just what I want to concentrate on is, well, like this guy definitely could have microed better. But I think he did a pretty good job of being annoying. Thugs actually, I believe they do not outrange light laser towers, but they definitely stand up to them quite well. And this is dangerous with my comm being this low. So I gotta be careful. So I'll just be rebuilding these LLTs and being as annoying as I can. I think he would have benefited from having at some point having Rocketeers up here. Another comm blew up. We're gonna get that reclaimed too. And like, as you can see, like, we're just chilling. This doesn't feel 100% great, but I have like lines of turrets that, like, if nothing's gonna get through here. I just need to... I'm going to be looking away a lot, and it's not going to feel good to do that with my comm this low. So I'll be trying to build stuff further back. Our priority from this point is to get up a warden or an overseer. They have good range. They're not the only thing that you can build. Okay, you still need the light laser turrets or the twin light laser turrets or the beam, whatever is your faction. But you need this because it's they will be able to pick away at artillery. Actually, I'm not 100% sure if it outranges artillery. Artillery probably not. I think they do stand up to Rocketeers. But again, it's not I wouldn't say build this first. I would say build it once it's stabilized. once it feels safe. So my comm can blow up at any point, but he doesn't know that. Your commander's health isn't available information to everyone. And this guy's finally here to support, which is kind of, it's just kind of aggro to be doing this, honestly. Maybe I degun, maybe my comm blows up. Oh my god. Oh, that does not feel good. So this sucks. This really sucks. I do have kind of a little turrets here, I guess. This sucks. If this guy reacts to this properly and just says, "Oh, there's nothing there. I'm gonna go reclaim it," I'm gonna be like, "Oh, that sucks." But it, man, I have one bot up here now. It's not great. But okay, good. This guy notices and is here to support, so that's good. What am I gonna do about this? I'm continuing. I'm not reacting, to be honest. I've been very greedy with the construction bots, and I'm going to be just spamming wind farms and stuff, and I need to be more on top of my stuff with getting energy storage up and converters at this point. And one thing back here is I want to again have all these construction turrets cover at least these 3 mechs, and I will transition from bots to vehicles. And I'm not even going to build vehicles really unless it's necessary. I'm going to be spamming vehicle constructors. We'll see that later. We're just preparing ourselves to be transitioning to the T2 economy while trying to get away with as least units as possible, and this is good. This guy definitely, if he was more aggressive, could probably take care of this. But I do have some thugs finally coming up here to support, so that's kind of debatable. But you know, we're really like walking a very thin line here of like very good and very bad outcomes. These thugs can absolutely shred these whistlers. But they're not. So that's good. It's not something that you want to rely on, but if you kind of notice your opponent's being a bit timid, you know, you just get away with stuff. I don't know how this got through, but it's I'm not happy about it. I think I noticed it way after the fact. I think it ended up getting 2 mechs here. You can see why Rocketeers can't be your mainstay unit, because thugs can just dance around them. At a certain point, you do get a critical mass of Rocketeers, and it's just not fun to fight against, so just don't let it happen. There is, you can snowball pretty hard with Rocketeers if you're ahead on them and just keep on reviving bots, and it's horrible, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to hope that someone saves you. So maybe someone will come save you. Don't give up, because yeah. It's not fun to, like, sometimes you're gonna get in this situation where you just want to give up. I get it, but sometimes things can turn around. Nobody's playing perfectly. And see, this thing is, it's not even, I don't even think it's being microed, and it's just like, you can't hit me. I think at this point, like, I want to get this warden finished. I hope that doesn't get taken out, but construction turrets way earlier could have really helped me. And I think that's kind of like what really screwed me up this time is I only had 2 bots instead of 3 at the front, so I wasn't able to start building all these other utilities on the front. So, yeah. And then this leak, it doesn't feel too good. Good guy air got some Shuris for me. So back here, this is pretty important. You get the vehicle factory up and then have it turn it off factory guard and just on repeat build construction vehicles and have it send it out and to assist your advanced construction bot. And it's gonna take some babysitting and microing, but you want to basically tag a mex and then go to the next one, and then tag a mex, go to the next one. The construction vehicles will assist whatever it's currently working on. So they'll finish this up, and the construction bot moves slower, so you can give it a head start to start the next one. The vehicles will catch up, and then you go the next one, the next one. And that's how you can get your T2 pretty quickly. Another thing you can do is ask for a transport or build your own. Sometimes I do that, but it's just kind of annoying. If you want to, one thing I really like is sometimes someone will build me a vehicle advanced construction, whatever. That's so good. I love it. I love when that happens. But I wouldn't necessarily say that I would want my tech to give up having butlers to do wind eco just so that I can have I mean, honestly, it's probably better to be giving out vehicles for the advanced because it's more efficient to upgrade mechs than to scale in other ways. But we're not there yet as a community. And also, like, people aren't used to it, so like even if you there has to be a certain amount of preparedness to be spending the metal that you get, I guess you could say. That's just like a weird thought that I've had for a very long time. Because when I originally started teching, one of my ideas was, oh, I'll help everybody upgrade their mechs. But the thing is, not everyone is prepared to spend it, so it doesn't really help. You just kind of have to allow people to work at their own pace. And that would be like a higher level thing with people that play together often. And yeah, whatever, like, ready for that situation. I hear this guy's not being too active, but you'll see that this warden's really gonna stabilize things for me. And I'm still leaving this wreck here because this is gonna be the top priority. Really would feel a lot better to have more cons in the front and construction turrets. But this is not good. Like, if he would just engage this, he would just absolutely shred these whistlers. He's being very timid. I guess there's a consideration with the comm here, but whatever. Hindsight is 20/20. I'm not too worried about that. At least this guy is here. I want to, yeah, this player just kind of completely just rage quit. and I wasn't looking too closely, so I'm not going to make any judgments, but I noticed that, and I was like, But we've done a pretty good job, like, just denying these 2 mechs and making sure that we secure most of our own. It's going to work out pretty good for us. I'm going to be ahead of Eco, or on Eco. And I'm just spamming Eco back here, and jeez. Okay, I was like looking at someone else's Eco bar. I'm still floating, so I'm thinking about like, okay, I gotta get converters and stuff, and I'll be keeping an eye on my Eco that you would want to halt production on other things to get your T2 out first and have them powered, that sort of thing. And T1 converters only cost energy to build, so that's not a huge worry. But we were a little bit low there at one point and almost were stalling, or were stalling, I don't know. Yeah, this guy was pretty good about, at the very least, you want to keep the reclaim on your side, so it's really difficult for the opponent to be claiming reclaim. I'm not sure if there's a whole lot more to say about this. The next, I'm going to review another game and talk about that. And I'll be building a gauntlet to deal with the artillery. And be scaling on T1 Eco a whole lot. People say on glitters is that you want to get 4. This is kind of split BP situation. I sent this to over here too quickly, so not that great. And then I added these over here because I'm floating super hard and I don't want my energy to be going to my team. I don't like them. I trust myself more than anyone else, so I want it's good to float energy so you can ensure that everyone is able to spend their metal. But honestly, like, I trust myself more than anyone else. Another thing is, I think I built a gauntlet and end up e-stalling because gauntlets are pretty expensive. I think I get away with building this thing here. I'll be keeping an eye on this construction turret. If you want to be sieging a turret line, construction turrets are going to be your high value targets to stop the opponent. And I always forget to build the jammer, but construction turrets will go down very quickly. The commander is another good target because it takes a lot of build power to repair. And you can kind of spread their build power to the least efficient sources of whatever to repair per HP. You know what I mean? Hopefully. I built these twin laser turrets, I guess, because they outrange the regular ones. And this guy, you don't have to worry too much about artillery. What you do need to worry about is something that you don't have any control over, is when you're getting pelted by artillery from multiple players. That's really annoying. It's just the DPS is really low, and you can kind of hold off on reacting most of the time until like they're like microing and going for the right targets, crazy stuff like that. But yeah, I'm e-stalling right now on this gauntlet and win's pretty low. So I'm looking at this and I keep thinking, man, I really need to build a lot more energy storage. It's like I have like 1,000 metal in the bank. I don't want that. I want to spend it. That is wasted potential. And this game doesn't make it much further. I can probably just skip over this. I'm at 6 maxes, so I'm going to build a fusion. Still, I look at this and I think I need more converters and more e-storage. And up here, I will you'll see me reclaim labs that I don't need for a moment and then replace it somewhere else. So I end up building a bot lab in the front. Like, it might as well. I have these construction charts and they're not doing anything else. That's it. At this point is where I can start pushing. Sheldons will be coming out. If you're worried about fighting Sheldons or fat boys, medium tanks are the way to go. But I want to have the utility of, like, since I'm breaking through right now, I know that I'm about to squash this. And it's already in the process of being squashed. So I'm going to be looking to reclaim all the wrecks on the ground. And you also, I think I noticed over here that there's just stuff on the ground. It's there. It's there right for the taking, so we're going to take it. And there's a debate for either side on whether you want to revive or reclaim. Reclaim doesn't cost energy and it happens much quicker. And also, I don't know why, but lately when you revive stuff, quite often it just goes to 5% and then the res bots move on. So that's an annoying extra micro thing to worry about. So this is a contested area, so if the area is contested, usually you just want to go for the reclaim. That's quite quick. So I'm looking at this and like, oh, I'm stalling, but... And in this situation, it's like, I'm not going to need this agitator, so I'm probably just going to recycle it. I'll oftentimes put res bots on queue, like 2 to 4 of them, and then make thugs and just be annoying, or grunts maybe, but usually thugs. The game's not going to go much further, nor is the next one going to make it to T3. Doing fiddly micro with this, I want to... Often, it's going to take a while before, like, it's going to take longer. It's going to take a while for this advanced bot to get to the front, so I'll often, before it ever gets there, have made a second T2 here and upgraded these mechs as well. And then any mechs, once their front falls apart, the game's probably just over. And I'll be looking around for any opportunity to take any open mechs. Very, very important to keep your snowball going, sort of thing. And if you're floating, consider making a metal storage. If you really just can't spend the metals, give it away. Even in the beginning, like, if you're really winning hard on front, like, don't be afraid to just send 1,800 metal to your tech. It's going that's just a huge win for your team. The sooner you get T2 bots out, or T2 max out, the better. And Like, this at this point, it's basically over. Hopefully I play the next game a little bit better.
Battle.
So, let's see, this one... I think this one was a lot better. This would be... it's just scary how good it can be to make your factory before building your mechs. These replays are fiddly. I can never tell, like, is it starting or... Okay, it's starting. Okay. So we're going to be playing the little energy juggling minigame.
Game started.
Someone was drawing on the map, so I had to make sure everyone knows that we're retreating. Oh, yeah, in this one, I queued up these windmills, so I saw, oh, wind's pretty low. I'm going to build a solar first. If you build a solar, I wouldn't go for the second solar immediately, because you'll be floating energy. Just go straight for the factory. Keep an eye on the wind. And you'll just have to experiment with this, because we are not floating now. The wind's going up, so I may, before finishing this factory, start these winds, because we're risking stalling, possibly. We'll see how it goes. When this thing starts building, it's taking 75 energy per second. Looks like it worked out pretty good. We're really, yeah, we're just right in the middle, so we're not gonna stall. But wind sucks. Didn't see it. Still under 8. But even you got to be really careful with building a whole lot of solar if you don't have any mechs, because solar it just takes a lot of metal to build. So we'll see how I decide to juggle this. I think in this situation, probably my comm is not doing anything, so we don't want that. Definitely be a time to be continuing to build wind. There we go. Hopefully this time I decide to have my 3 cons expanding. And then whenever I feel comfortable that my economy is not going to stall, I'm going to build one of my starting 3 metal extractors. Hopefully without having my comm move out of position to where it started. It's just wasted time. Same with how it was idle for a moment there. We don't want that. So we're stalling right now, so I'm just kicking myself in the butt. Like, why didn't I? Well, in this situation, like, we're stalling on metal too, so, like, And that's going to be because of this. We had to build this solar collector, so what can you do? This isn't, like, the worst thing that happened, but it might be a little bit further ahead if I wasn't idling my comm for a moment. I really hope that I perform this the right way, but let's see. Let it go for a bit. What is this bot going to do this time? It's assisting the factory, so that's okay. It worked out in this situation because these ticks are gonna be here, and he's gonna try to be as annoying as possible with these ticks. It happens. So in this situation, I sent these way further out. They are out of position at this point. They're not gonna make it here to defend it on time. This is good. Some of these are getting cut off. The microing wasn't there. These are getting through. Please sign my petition to stop the leaks. Please sign my... anyway, okay, so this is out of position. And I'm trying to get there. And then I also... I would have wanted one here and one here. This doesn't feel great. When I'm in this situation, I'm like, oh no. Thank God for these Shuris. This is so annoying. He's gonna be like trying to get it so the grunt can't fire at it. So behind the mechs it happens. But goated error here. Hopefully I get a third expanding. Oh, I did. So at some point I have 3 cons expanding. I have 1 assisting this factory. I am stalling on energy though, so wind's low. I have low energy, so I'm not going to say that this solar was a bad idea, because energy is not that bountiful in this situation for me. I'm only have like 4 wind. I'm like min-maxing really hard here. Goated backline going here, awesome. And then this is where we start dancing around each other with the turrets. I'm gonna be as aggressive as I can, so I may plop down this turret and then, oh, I saw it. It's already in range, so. But of course my idea is I'm gonna go degun this, but I have no energy. That's clever. If he did that on purpose to block the turret, but he should be repairing that, but didn't. You see how this happens is I'm doing very well. And I'm actually not #1 on the metal income or energy income. But some really good things is even over here, he's doing it too. We're denying their 3.2 max by getting up there really, really quick. I'm kind of curious how this guy... some people like to build a construction turret, so maybe that's what he did over here, is use the construction turret to tap these maxes and go. Which is that's an interesting little thing. I like that. So, I don't know, maybe he's reclaiming, or... I like this too. I saw it and I'm like, who's building here? This is often a gap in our defense where leaks can happen. It's just a lot of people don't catch on to it, but it does happen. It's there. This area is often forgotten about. At least for me. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. Okay, yeah, now we're ahead on the metal income over green. Just being really proactive here with putting up turrets and stuff. Janus and Whistlers. The Janus is, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, is a bit scary. This is like being super aggressive here. 3% health every time he gets touched by a thug. Yikes. So we'll see how I decide to do this. I may go for the warden first, or get a construction turret up first. What keeps happening? Does it happen every game? Double LLT, good. be construction turrets and then a warden and then a gauntlet is usually how things happen. We're just getting away with not building too many units. I'd say maybe a weakness to this sort of thing would be rocket bots. If you notice that, you want to maybe get the warden up more quickly. Or maybe it just doesn't work at all. But hey, I'm getting away with it. Huh? I think I might be running out of things to talk about, but like my goal back in the back line is to get as many construction bots as I can to be building as much wind and converters as I can, and also storage. This should be I should be more proactive with repairing things, and then I remember I'm like, oh, you just gotta get this warden up. Just gotta get this warden up. Ugh. Yikes. Use my comm to try to get him to back off as much as I can, but I could have done a little bit better job of like moving these out of harm's way. I'll be having this commander dance around as much as I can without getting it blown up, hopefully. This is very, very scary. And I'm like running out of construction bots to repair this or build this thing, but it's up and we're pretty. Oh, yikes! At this point, I'm like, yep. I gotta build the construction turrets. But I will be keeping an eye on this. I don't want it blowing up, so I'm gonna repair it at some point, more than likely. If it gets targeted down and wrecked, then I'm just wrecked. But they didn't notice this opportunity, plus this guy is here with the assist, so there's enough there to scare them off and not do that. And then I'm just gonna fortify this position, get my turrets up, get a warden, and I'm not being aggressive, especially like, I mean, here's one thing you need to consider is that if you are attacking and losing units, the wrecks are going to be on their side under their turrets. They're going to get the reclaim. If you can get them to attack you or even just be at a stalemate, that's good because you're scaling, and if they attack you, you get the reclaim. Very, very, very important. So, here's why you can't spam rocket bots exclusively, because grunts just plow right through them, or pawns, because they can't hit anything. Now, a mixed army is different. Diversify your army. And here it's just like, oh, I'm good. I'm not thinking about how am I gonna be more aggressive. I'm thinking about what things can I do to get the most value. Give me my max back. Yeah, dude. Scamas. You don't have plenty. Don't you have plenty? 3EE. I don't know, man, what this guy's up to. I just know that he's making a solar right now. A solar. How do I think? What do I think about a solar? It it costs a lot of energy to build. That's one. I think some people say it's good on build power. So, but I would prefer to have a bunch of construction bots building winds on a wind map than making a solar. But if all you have is construction turrets, I'm not gonna knock it too hard. But I think wind is still better. I can't do the math. There's somewhere there's a break-even point for where a solar is technically better, but I think on glitters with average 11, 12 almost wind, a solars is just kind of cringe. Rosetta, I think it's good on Rosetta. Maybe. Don't know. I'm just back here. I'm gonna build a whole mob of construction vehicles. Trying to get as much wind as I can. East storage stuff we talked about before. In this, even up here, I'm like, well, like I guess I can build wind here too. I don't know. I probably need it, to be honest. And this gauntlet is, if I'm microing it, I'm gonna be attacking the ground if things are being jammed. You can kind of discern where artillery is at most of the time. But I would go for the threats, the most immediate threats, and then the less immediate threats. I'm just kind of just gonna attrition him. I'm winning on attrition just by denying this max, but also now I got this gauntlet up. I'm even helping other lanes out. Running out of things to talk about here. I'm just generally doing more damage than I'm taking, I guess. Turrets are really good. You see, like, I'm not really thinking about, I have to break through. I have to do as much damage as I can right now. I'm just like, no, I'm just chilling. I'm scaling. This guy is, like, really feeling the pressure from me from doing very little. Just finessing over here. And whenever I see an opening, once I really feel that there's just no pressure left and I can spend my metal without skimping out on getting my T2 going and stuff, that's when I transition to thugs and just clear out what's closest to me, maybe. Or if I can't do that, then I look for weak points. So this I would probably, oh, well, there's no defense here, and he's spilling out into other lanes, so I'll clean that up, and then I get the reclaim. Use that reclaim to build even more units. Clear this up, reclaim. Clear this up, reclaim. Unfortunately, this doesn't really get... Can you send one Air Scout Neo? Oh, that's someone else. I'm curious why they're asking, if they just can't see what's going on here. But, I mean, this looks terrifying. Yeah, as like frontline unit, medium tanks, I wouldn't say are like the best decision right now because, like I said earlier, I think thugs are just more DPS and HP thick. they're just thicker. They're thicker for frontline. If if these tanks could get around and be annoying, it'd be a different story. But this isn't that kind of map. These are just going to be more efficient, and as I'm going through this, I'm just grabbing the reclaim. These mechs are going to be open for me to take, so I'm going to do that. And at this point, we're just everything's been broken. And this game isn't even going to make it to the T2 phase. But I would like to talk about T2 if we got further. I'd like to talk about how to build an engine at some point back here. And this is where I'm like, okay, I have a lot of metal, so I'm going to prepare a space to where I'm going to start building basic fusions and making a lot of T1 converters, and eventually I don't have a magic number, but I usually ask for a core T2 con maybe around 250 income or something like that, and start making Shivas. Shivas are so good. I guess he could also just go air is another one that people like to do. I don't have much more to comment on. Some minimal use of butlers. I'd like to talk about that, man. I usually get up, I build like 50 butlers as tech. It just gets samey back there, you know? Yeah. They're really feeling it. And just getting all this reclaim.
Battle ended.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And you can see at the end of it, most games I end up with, if I'm winning, I'm winning really hard in this lane, and by prioritizing, I don't want to hear that. Yeah, I have like 5k metal in compared to other people. This match I didn't do too great on energy production, so you see, like, at this point I can't even spend how much metal that I have, but this is like they broke, and I'm just reclaiming everything, so that's part of it. But our main consideration is turning excess metal into eco and static defense mostly. This is the common theme if you really want to excel at bar. Your main priority is economy and long-term growth, and while walking that tightrope between chaos and domination. I don't know. Losing really hard and winning really hard. But I would say that I definitely have improvement on how we could be playing these things out. Not denying that. But in these lobbies that are, I guess, mid, even at like 25 OS, I definitely take some execution and some practice. But I think this is pretty... I think I talked about most of the basics. Unfortunately, we didn't get to a T2 sort of match. And T2 and T3, so those are... I'd like to make another video about that. Perhaps I'm just rambling. But that's an interesting phase of the game. It's not quite intuitive. I'd like to talk about it at some point. Yeah. That's how you absolutely clown on people on gutters. Peace.